I'm Elaine.Bayless, the voice of reason for overwhelmed moms and women in transition. So this week, my blog post is about the importance of community. And, I had the perfect illustration this week. I have these beautiful big white lilies that grow in my front garden. And you really need to check out my blog post so you can see the pictures, because these things are incredible. They're taller than me, and they have these giant white lilies, and they're just gorgeous. And I love them. The first year I planted them, though, I was very surprised because they shot up to, almost 6 feet tall, and then when they bloomed, they just fell over. The blooms were too heavy. So I had to stake them. I had to, I tried various things, and then finally I found these great stakes that are sort of like little spirals. And so every spring, as soon as the bulbs send up their shoots, I put my stake in, and as the shoots grow up, I just gradually wrap the stems into those stakes. And then when they bloom, they stay up. So they're gorgeous. But we've had a lot of heavy rain. And so one day, I went out and took a couple pictures because they were just so beautiful. And then literally the next day, after this horrendous torrential downfall, one of the lilies was just bowed over. Just completely and it was bowed over right where the stake ended. The rainwater and then the weight of the collected rainwater on the blossoms just did it in. And it was so striking to me because here there are these two lilies side by side, and one of them is still just up and beautiful and facing the sun, and the other one's just hanging down. It really struck me because the only thing that kept that lily from just falling flat on the ground was the stake. And I thought, wow, because that's community. And that's why I tell you, you've got to be in a community. And if I was having this conversation with a friend actually, and I said, if you have a faith that's important to you, you need to be in a faith community. You need to find a faith community where you can be authentically you, but you can also practice your faith with a community. If you're not of a certain faith, you still need a community. You need a community of volunteers, a community of like-minded people, maybe a yoga group or a meditation group, a writing group, an art group. You need community, because community is what holds us up when the going gets tough. Just like that lily. That lily and that stake, I've been weaving them together for several months so that the two of them were integrated. And that stake is the only thing keeping that lily off the ground. And that's why community is so important, because life isn't always good. And I talk a lot about how great life is, but I'm not naive enough to think that there isn't pain and suffering in the world. And there are times when you are going to be just bowed over by life. And that's where your community comes in and lifts you up and keeps you from landing on the ground, keeps you from falling. That's the essential aspect of community. So it was such a beautiful illustration. So I encourage you again, actually go to my written blog post. I'll try to incorporate a picture into this video as well of just the striking difference between, the one lily that's still okay and the other one that's so bowed over. And there's nothing wrong with grieving, and there's nothing wrong with being depressed or being in pain or being in anxiety. There's nothing wrong with those things. But this goes along with my post from last week. Don't make it any harder than it has to be. Community helps with the pain. So that's my advice for you this week. If you can't find a community, I would suggest Meetup. That's a great place to meet like-minded individuals. If you are looking for a church and you don't know what's going on, I'd love to research churches with you, temples, whatever. So give me a call and let's talk about community, and let's talk about how we can find a really great community for you. So that's my advice for the week, is that you find a really strong community to plug into. Thank you for listening. This is the voice of reason for overwhelmed moms and women in transition, Elaine Bayless.